Hey, hello everybody. So in this first video of the ProArray tutorials, I'm going to talk about basics of ProArray and how to set it up. So now I'm going to switch to the demo to hover over to the tools menu and under ProArray, and you can just press empty array. It will just simply create the ProArray handle for you over here, and you have to fill in the objects, the target objects yourself. There's another way to do that. So first I'm going to delete that. Directly drag out the objects over here, and I go to the hierarchy and right click on it, and under ProArray, active to array. It will do the same, just the same. And there's another way to create. As you may see over here, under the ProArray you have empty array curve. First I'm going to have something big for me to click on it. So something like this, and it must have a collider. Then for example, I want to draw our curve, so just like this. So and I press create when I finish, and it will just create a ProArray for me, and it will switch to the curve mode and assign those points for me. Now what I'm going to do is just maybe just throw in a tree. I've done the same in the demo, the speed level design video. Now I'm just increasing the X count, yeah, so it will appear on those corners. Just very simple and quick. So now I'm going to delete the one here, and I'm going to focus on this one. So I'm going to talk about the basics of ProArray. The main component you're going to have is the ProArray handler. First one is the object tab. You assign the target here. You can also have the multiple target thing. You can add more than one objects and just randomize them. For example, I have something like this. So now I'm going to switch to from incremental. Incremental is going to instantiate the first one here, and the second one here, and the first one here, and the second one here. Just follow these rules. But if I'm going to change that to random, it will just random. Maybe I enable the weighting. Now you can see it's not easy to see from here, so I'm going to increase the count, and also filling the whole plane like this. So now basically everything is going to random for you, and you can select the weighting over here. Yeah, and I've just realized that there's a block, that the seed here won't be having any effects on the results, and I'm going to fix that in the next release. So please be patient. And actually ProArray is still in the beta, so there may be some bugs, so I have to declare that first. So in this transform box, you can basically flip along each direction. So basically now it's set yeah, exit, and yeah, just two direction. And when I press right, it's not going to take any effect because I don't have anything over this direction. But if I have, it's going to take effect. It will flip the objects just upside down, just like this. So if I just fill everything, fill the whole box, the whole thing will take effect. So now let's talk about override default. So the override, if you have enabled it, before everything is applied to the objects, the rotation is being set to this value, like this. So very easy to understand. It's also applied it to the scale. So before everything is applied, it's going to set this value first. So now for the offset. So if you're going to have a offset position, it's going to just offset it everything like this, and it's also do it for the same for the rotation, also for the scale. Yeah, and now I'm going to reset everything, and let's go try around to mess around with the relative position. So the relative position is not taking effect over here, but it's going to take effect over the y-axis. So you can see the object is basically, each one is going to be higher than the previous one over this direction. yeah, over this direction and also this direction. You can see the objects is elevating and higher than the previous object. The same thing also applied to the rotation. Imagine this thing happening. It's very interesting, right? So basically, the one that above the 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 one that below them is going to take a more rotation than the previous one. So now I'm going to reset this. Maybe resetting this easier. This will be easier. So basically, the object will rotate like this along the direction, along maybe X, because you have just like yeah, and also the Y direction, also the Z direction. The same thing also applied for the scale. So the one here is going to take more scaling effect than the previous one. For example, the grass is going to be taller than the previous one. Let's move on to the count box over here. And I think you understand the three properties over here, but about the uniform count, this one, if you enable it, you will just have only one field to track about. When you will increase the size, it's going to take effect on all directions. Now let's move on to the field boxes. In this boxes or tab, we're going to try circle. So in this circle mode, everything is going to be filled in around a circle, and this define the radius. This define the radius, and if you align it, it will align the rotation to the center, just facing forward to the center. Also, if you increase the count, it will just become like this. If I'm going to turn that off, if this the simple one layer, I can increase the Y count, and it will add a layer like this. Increase the Z count, it will add it like this. Now let's talk about the size. So this basically will get the how ProArray know the size of each object. When you're in a box mode, it will automatically align each objects after each object, because the ProArray get the size from the renderer. So now you can also have a fixed size over here. So now let's talk about the random stuff. So over here, I can random the offset. Maybe I set the renderer first. Set to the renderer. I could randomize the offset, yeah, in no direction, and you can ignore some direction. And I can also trick the seed to achieve different variation. And now I'm going to check out the randomizing the rotation. Over here, that's quite similar to the offset, and I don't think I'm going to talk about that again. And the scale is also the same. But in here you can have the uniform scale. Basically, it's scale everything in all directions by this value and within this random range. So let's talk about a sub-random thing. So basically, that's not very useful in this scenario, but it may be useful in a scenario like this. Wait a second. Or maybe you can check out the example scene from the ProArray. Yeah, so in this scenario, it actually come in handy in this scenario. So basically, everything over this platform is a single object generated by the ProArray handler. So the base object is the cube. So you can see I used the random cube here, and I have enabled a subrandom, and I'm randomizing the value. I have the two objects, the stone and the grass over here, and I'm using weighting, so the objects will have different weighting effects. If I just trick this value, it will come in handy if you're doing something like this, or maybe you can try to just mess around with the stuff. So that's how this random is working. Let's continue on the extra tab over here. So now you have the mesh combine thing. So when this is enabled, it's going to automatically combine everything into the single objects. But there's some cases and you have too much objects, I think maybe just, yeah, I've triggered it. Yeah. When it has too much objects, it will prompt you an error unable to combine meshes because it contains too many vertex. One thing you can do is increase the merge count, merge chunk. So it'll basically slice the whole objects into different objects, into different smaller part of merged objects, and it will solve the problem. I'm going to talk about the auto update and auto ground functions over here. So imagine I'm going to have a wait a second. For example, I have something like this. So now, but I want to place my objects above it. I'm going to enable. Oh, first maybe I just decrease the count. I don't want it too many objects over here. No. Maybe I just reset the rotation first. I've yeah, disable the random rotation first. So now over here, if I enable auto ground, it will be auto grounded for me, but it's not going to update. So I'm going to enable auto update. So yeah, so it's going to update the objects. Wait a second. Oh, what happened? Oh, I should stop the baking. Yeah, I should stop the baking first. So now, when I going to move the objects, it's going to automatically waycast from the object's bottom, and if it hit the surface, it will place these objects above the surface. But you can still apply some random rotation over here. But yeah, I have to disable align normal first, and I'm going to the y direction. So I should ignore this 2 value over here, and now I can have random rotation over the horizontal line, and over here I have other tabs over here, this expandable thing. So this basically shortcut to the overview window here, and preference over here, just for you to change some colors, and also the maximum item limit or maximum uniform item limit. This is a safety measures for not allowing you to instantiate if you accidentally toggle the value too high, because it will cause your computer slow down if you don't have a high-end PC. So yeah. And also there's something very interesting, because I've changed the UI a lot. In some older version, I have the vertical UI, just like this. So basically you can have different tabs opened at the same time. So if you prefer that this style of editor, you can just toggle this boolean here, and if you don't want to do that same, you can keep it the same as the original one. Yeah. So this is the basics of ProArray. So I guess that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.